Right this very second, as you're just sitting there, literally trillions of your cells are performing this incredible feat. They're making perfect copies of themselves. So today, we are going to dive deep into this amazing biological machine, mitosis. Think about it. You get a cut, and a few days later, it's just gone. Or you see a baby picture of yourself and think, how did I get from that to this? It really does feel like magic, doesn't it? Well, it's not magic. It's something even more incredible going on inside you. The answer to both of those mysteries, how you heal, how you grow, it's actually the exact same thing. It's like a secret superpower that your body cells are using every single day to build you and rebuild you from the inside out. And that superpower has a name, mitosis. To put it simply, it's the process where one of your body cells divides to create two new, absolutely identical cells. Think of it as your body's ultimate copy and paste function. It is the engine that drives all of your growth and repair. Now, it is absolutely crucial not to get mitosis mixed up with its cousin, meiosis. They sound similar, but they do totally different jobs. Mitosis, the one we're talking about, makes identical body cells for growth and repair. Meiosis, that's all about reproduction, making genetically different cells like sperm and eggs. So for today, just remember, mitosis means identical copies. So how does a cell even get ready for such a massive job? I mean, you can't just slice a cell in half and call it a day. There's this really important preparation phase where the cell has to get its most critical instructions, its genetic blueprints, all ready for copying. Let's try an analogy to make this easier. Imagine your cell is this incredibly advanced high-tech photocopier. Its number one mission is to make a perfect, flawless copy of the master blueprint. And that blueprint, that's your DNA, the instruction manual that makes you, well, you. And just how big is this blueprint? Well, in pretty much all of your body cells, that DNA is neatly organized into 46 structures. We call them chromosomes. And every single one of those 46 chromosomes has to be copied perfectly before the cell can even think about dividing. No pressure, right? A cell doesn't just divide on a whim. Actually, it spends most of its life just getting ready. This whole preparation stage is called interphase. During this time, the cell grows, it stocks up on everything it needs, and, this is the most important part, it makes an exact copy of all 46 of its chromosomes. So now it has two complete sets of the genetic blueprints, all ready for the big split. Okay, so the blueprints are copied, everything's ready to go. The cell is now set to begin the main event, this beautifully complex, four-step dance called mitosis, where it's going to carefully separate those duplicated chromosomes into two new cells. And listen, if you want a really easy way to remember the 4 steps in order, and trust me, this is a lifesaver for exams, just remember the acronym PMAT. That's PMAT. It stands for prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Let's break down what's happening in each of these stages. All right, first up, we've got P for prophase. This is the prepare stage. In prophase, the copied chromosomes, which are usually long and stringy, coil up super tight, becoming thick and visible under a microscope. It's like taking messy threads and winding them into neat little spools. At the same time, the nucleus, the little container holding them, starts to dissolve. And these tiny little protein ropes called spindle fibers start to form. They're getting ready to do some serious work. Next, we move into the second stage, metaphase. And an easy way to remember this one is M for middle. The nucleus is totally gone now, and all the chromosomes do this perfectly coordinated move where they line up single file right across the middle of the cell. Then, those spindle fibers we just talked about reach out and attach to each chromosome, like a tug-of-war team grabbing the rope, just waiting for the signal. And then comes the action, the most dramatic part of the process, anaphase. So A is for away. The spindle fibers pull hard, and they yank the identical copies of each chromosome apart from each other. One full set gets pulled to one side of the cell, and the other full set gets pulled to the opposite side. The whole cell actually starts to stretch out, getting longer, preparing for that final separation. And that brings us to the final stage of mitosis itself, telophase. You can think of T for 2. The chromosomes have reached the opposite ends of the cell, and now 2 brand new nuclei start to form, one around each complete set of chromosomes. At this point, you can pretty clearly see one cell that's just moments away from becoming 2. So the hard work of separating the DNA is done. The new nuclei are forming. But we're still technically looking at one big, stretched-out cell.
mitosis is pretty much over, but there is one final critical step needed to actually complete the job. And this last step is called cytokinesis. This is the grand finale. It's the physical splitting of the rest of the cell, all the jelly-like stuff inside called cytoplasm. The outer membrane just pinches inwards, right down the middle, tighter and tighter until, pop, it separates into two totally distinct cells. And there you have it. We started with one cell, and now we've got two new daughter cells. And the key takeaway here is that each one is a perfect, genetically identical clone of the cell we started with. Our high-tech cellular photocopier has done its job perfectly. Mission accomplished. Okay, so we've just gone through this incredibly detailed dance of chromosomes and fibers. But let's zoom out. Why does any of this matter? Let's connect it all back to why this is your body's secret superpower. Honestly, mitosis is the reason you exist. It's the process that took you from a single fertilized egg to the person with trillions of cells that you are today. It's the reason that scraped knee heals. It's why your body is constantly replacing old cells. But, and this is a big but, it's also a double-edged sword. Because when this perfectly controlled process goes wrong, when cells start dividing uncontrollably without stopping, that is the very basis of cancer. Which leaves us with a really powerful final thought. We depend on this nearly perfect copying process for our very lives. But it also highlights a massive vulnerability in our biology. What happens when that cellular photocopier gets stuck on copy and just won't turn off? It's a process that is absolutely essential for life, but when it breaks, it can also be a gateway to disease.